Hey everybody, I'm Chris.
And I'm Skyla, and today we're going to be looking at social media.
Social media, like Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that?
Yep. Chris, if I were to look at your Facebook profile page, would that give me a true picture of who you are?
I hope it would, but I only really post the good photos of me on Facebook. I don't post bad photos, or I definitely don't post my bad days and bad experiences. So I guess for that reason, you wouldn't really get a true image of who I am.
Well, most people form their opinions on others based on what they see or hear about them. And it's often based about what they see in social media without even going through the trouble to get to know the person on a deeper level.
You're right.
Well, this already happened in Jesus' time. They didn't have internet back then, but people still formed opinions on others without even getting to know them. We can see this when Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?"
So through this we can see that people were talking about others. But what did they say?
Well, let's watch this God story and find out.
What do you call a pig that knows karate? A pork chop. Hi friends, it's Jen. I'm really excited to be back with you again today. I want to start by sharing a really cool story that happened to me yesterday. At work, I did a personality test. Now what that basically means is I answered a bunch of questions on this test of like how I think about things and how I do certain things, and then the test explained to me more about my personality and how I affect other people. Now I always thought of myself as more of like a task-oriented person getting things done, but what I learned yesterday was actually that people's feelings and how they're feeling about stuff really affects the decisions that I make. And that's something that I never knew about myself until yesterday. And that leads me to today's big idea. When we get to know Jesus, he helps us see who we really are. So last time we talked about the story of Peter walking on the water towards Jesus. But when he got afraid and saw the wind and the waves, he started to sink. And we learned that when we focus on Jesus, we don't need to be afraid. So we're going to pick up the story today in Matthew chapter 16. Jesus went to the area of Caesarea Philippi. There he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" So basically in this verse, Jesus knows that, people are starting to talk about him and sort of wondering who he is. And so he asked the disciples, like, what's the scoop? What are people thinking? What are they saying? And so the disciples answer, well, some people think you might be John the Baptist, which is weird because that's Jesus' cousin. Or, maybe he's an Old Testament prophet come back like Moses or Elijah or something like that. So the disciples are sort of sharing like, this is what people are kind of thinking. But then Jesus changes the question into something a little bit more direct. Jesus asked the disciples, "But who do you say that I am?" And guess who answered the question? None other than our good buddy Peter. Let's see what he said. Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God." So this is pretty cool. This is the same Peter who in our last story was doubting and began to sink in the water and the waves. This Peter is declaring who Jesus is. So you might think, well, yeah, that's cool, but so what? But up until this point, Jesus had only told one person who he really was, and that was the Samaritan woman at the well. So the fact that Peter could say this is pretty huge. So the Messiah, the Son of the living God, is someone the Israelites were waiting on for thousands of years. So the fact that Peter says, look, here he is, he's here now, that is a really big deal. Here's what Jesus said back to Peter. Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah. No mere human showed this to you. My Father in heaven showed it to you. Here is what I tell you. You are Peter. On this rock I will build my church. The gates of hell will not be strong enough to destroy it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. What you lock on earth will be locked in heaven. What you unlock on earth will be unlocked in heaven." Then Jesus ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. So it's so cool that Peter got this right. But the scripture does say that it wasn't just Peter's smarts, it was actually God who revealed this to him. So Jesus explains here that Peter will be the rock on which the church is built. Now he doesn't mean physically because, ouch, that would hurt. But what Jesus is really saying is that Peter is going to play a huge part in starting the church, in spreading the gospel so that more and more people could learn about the love of Jesus. So through Peter's experience, you can see that as he got to know Jesus, he learned more about who he really was, the rock on which the church would be built. And it's true for us too. As we spend more time with Jesus and more time with his followers, we learn more about who we were created to be. And that's why we can know that when we spend time with Jesus, he helps us see who we really are. Well, it's so great to hang out with you guys again today. I will see you next time.
Quickly turn to the person next to you and see if you can answer the following questions before the time runs out.
Question time. Jesus often referred to himself as the Son of Mary, the Son of Joseph, the Son of Thunder, the Son of Man. The Son of Man. When Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do you say I am?" who answered correctly by saying, "You are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God." James, Peter, John, Andrew. Peter. What did Jesus mean when he tells Peter, "You are the rock on which I will build my church"?
We often form opinions about people from what we see on their social media. And Jesus knew Peter's heart. So based on that, he was able to show Peter who he really was.
We're now going to watch a video of Zuriel, and you'll see the amazing stuff God had to show him about himself.
Game every day. From 1 in the morning till the next day. Strategy, RPG, FPS, so we can get to the stupid level 41 in a game called Super Magic Siren Blitz. It takes 10 days for you to download it. But once you go in, you can never come out. You become the AI, your controls us. While we're doing this, we're drinking our Mountain Dew. Hot pockets in the microwave, they're warming up too. And we don't care what you think or say about us. Why? Cause you know that we're the best.
The rapping that I do, it's not meant to be taken like seriously. I do not wanna go on concert tours or anything like that. This is just for the enjoyment of others and see others smile. I'm Zuriel. I like anything nerdy. I love singing, and I love people. I was homeschooled for many years of my life, and I had a few close friends during these years, but I didn't really have a lot of friends, like as you would in high school. So I tried to find these groups at youth groups. So the first one was really small, and it just didn't help us connect because there wasn't very many people. And then when we went to the second one, there were so many people that there was a lot more cliques. And I did not fit the expectations of people there, and because I didn't want to change as much as other people wanted me to, so that means I didn't get to make a lot of friends that I could have. After the second youth group, we went to one more, and we went to this retreat. And we were worshiping, and I just felt this presence of being loved all around me, because I could tell that people there were actually wanting to learn about God, and they actually wanted to care about me and other people. And that just made me, for the first time in my life, I think I was like truly happy. Shortly after this retreat, we were doing worship again in a group. I saw this image of an eye, and I heard or saw the word watch, and I was like, okay, this is something I want to write down. So I wrote down, and then for a little bit I was trying to figure it out, and then at one point, my grandmother pointed me to a verse in the Bible, which is Proverbs 7:2-4, which is, keep my commandments and live, keep my teachings as the apple of your eye, bind them on your fingers and write them on the tablet of your heart. And for me, this meant that the place where I'd found community, I needed to keep that and the things that I learned there as the apple of my eye. And I think ever since that point, I've had a different view on the things that have happened in my life. So ever since that experience I've had, I felt called to like hang out with anybody, and the younger kids especially too, because they can teach you a lot. And I know one way that you can connect with younger people is just to be funny and goofy. And I found out one day that if I can talk like this and rap, the definition of nerd is imbued into the songs themselves. And I've really enjoyed making them, and I think people like them. I also enjoy writing music as well. And a song that I wrote recently is about the verse Proverbs 7:2 about keeping God as the apple of your eye.
I'm gonna take a breath, cause it reminds me how beautiful you are to me. You're the one and only person I need, cause you are always kind to me. I'm gonna take a breath.
Through all these experiences that I've had, I think God's helped me realize who I can be through Him. And He's helped me realize how my actions can affect others and how my actions can show His love to others. Even though I'm not perfect, the experiences that I've had in my life have changed me for the better, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share God's love.
Oh, my heart is a tablet that I will write your words upon, and I will follow your commandments. Be the apple of my eye, the apple of my eye.
I wish I could rap like Zuriel. He's such a funny guy.
Yeah, he's really comfortable in his own skin. It's amazing how he can show his love for Jesus.
Yeah, and that only really happened after Jesus showed him who he really was. So let's get in our small groups now and talk a little bit more about this.